For years, Mark was the failure of the family. While his cousins became doctors and lawyers, Mark spent his 20s working 3 jobs, living in a tiny basement apartment, and driving a car that barely started. At family reunions, they didn't ask how he was. They gave him advice on how to be more like them. His older brother, Julian, was the golden child. Julian had the high-paying tech job, the designer clothes, and the constant praise. But Julian lived beyond his means, fueled by ego. 10 years later, the tables turned. Mark had quietly saved every penny, invested wisely, and built a successful landscaping empire. He bought a beautiful, modest home on 5 acres of land, a sanctuary he built with his own hands. One Sunday, a moving truck pulled into Mark's driveway. Behind it was Julian's luxury SUV. Julian stepped out, not with a greeting, but with a demand. "Mark, I've had some setbacks. The house is gone, and the bank is breathing down my neck. Mom and Dad said you have plenty of room here. We'll take the upstairs wing. It's only fair. You're single, and I have a reputation to maintain." Mark's parents arrived shortly after, nodding in agreement. "Mark, be a team player. You don't even use those rooms. Julian needs this to get back on his feet." Mark remembered the time, 5 years prior, when he had asked Julian for a small loan to fix his work truck so he wouldn't lose his business. Julian had laughed and said, "I don't invest in sinking ships, Mark. Maybe try a real job." Mark didn't yell. He didn't get angry. He simply stood on his porch and looked at the family that only saw his value when they needed something from him. "You're right, Julian," Mark said calmly. "I don't use those rooms. I use them for my peace. And my peace is not for sale, and it's certainly not for rent." His father turned red. "How can you be so selfish? We're family." Mark looked his father in the eye. "Family is who stands by you when you have nothing. When I had nothing, I was a sinking ship. Now that I have a harbor, you want to dock your boat for free." The answer is no. Mark walked inside and closed the door. For the first time in his life, the silence in his house didn't feel lonely. It felt like victory. Subscribe to Motivation and Story to keep climbing. We'll see you in the next one.